Hello, everyone. Yes, as Amanda said, my name is Peter Conlon, and I'm sorry, I'm just getting my slides to wake up here. So yes, I look after the co-curricular program here, which is my privilege to tell you about today. And I'm being joined, I'll just end screen sharing here. I'm joined today by my colleague from admissions, Richard Murphy. Say hello, Richard.
Hi guys, I'm just sitting in the background and I'll be answering any questions you have. So in the Q&A box, if you want to start answering, putting some questions in there and I'll answer them as we go. And then Peter, we're having a few minutes at the end. If anyone wants to ask more questions, we'll read them out and we'll go from there. So thanks, Peter. Over to you.
That's brilliant. Thanks, Richard. Now, if there are any particular questions you can identify there that would be useful for to be fielded for everyone, please do stock them up, and then maybe I'll speak for maybe 10, 15 minutes, and then I'll come back to you, Richard, and you can tell me what questions there are there, and I'll do my best to answer them. Well, yeah, I'll do my best. That's all I can promise. But all of you are obviously looking to come to graduate business school here or with other options, and obviously the master's program is the central feature of your student experience, but it shouldn't be the whole part of your student experience at business school. Business school is about getting you ready for the workplace, either going to the workplace for the first time if you're at that stage, or if you're about to go back to the workplace, maybe in a more senior position. Business school should help you go back and be professionally competent and ready for the working environment. And that's what our co-curricular program has been produced to prepare you for. It's called the Global Leadership Program. GLP is the acronym that's often mentioned here. And it's very unique to the school. We're not aware of any other business school having anything similar to it. We're quite proud of it. It's a unique selling point for the school. Yeah, and it's received a lot of investment. And I've been working on it for the last few years. And so I'll really just go back to screen sharing, and I'll tell you a bit more about it. Here we go. Now, there is a framework. This is a business school. We do love frameworks, but I wouldn't get overly hung up on the detail of it. As and when you come here, more will be explained to you. But as you can see, there's three verticals there. It's all about students being able to show their initiative, hone their work-based skills, and get themselves ready for their next career step. The master's program you do will, of course, give you all the specialist skills you'll need in whatever your chosen area is. But you'll need many more skills to be workplace effective, like being able to present, being able to work effectively in teams, and being able to demonstrate initiative and take up responsibility for things that perhaps you hadn't done before, and being able to work and think on your feet. And those sorts of things are what our activities are helping you to be prepared for. Now, I'll just go on to the slides here. Now, the central theme really is workplace skills. Now, whatever stage you're at, whether you're just out of your first degree going straight into your master's degree, or whether you have a significant experience, we will be able to take you from wherever you are and help to hone and develop those skills to make you sort of the better version of yourself, as they often say. Now, I'll give a few slides here with images just to give a flavor of what's in the program. Now, the program, I should say, actually, is an opt-in option for you. It's there, it's included in your Smurf experience, and it's there for you to step into if you want to, but it's opt-in. So by default, you're out of all this. But if you choose to register for the program, you opt in, you end up then on a mailing list where we then inform you about the various skills and training sessions and speaker events and all the various activities that the program offers. And then you can look at what comes through and take your pick and join whatever you wish to join. And so I'll give you a flavor of what we've been doing from previous years, and will be as part of our annual program. One of the first sessions we try and put on is the time and task management essential session. This is about how you manage your time and manage your tasks, both for your working life, but also life generally. And that's delivered by one of our excellent external consultants. The people who deliver this content is a mixture of internal staff from the business school and consultants we bring in. So we try and find the best people for each area. Another session, which is very important at the start of the year, is also effective presentation, helping people prepare themselves to be able to deliver presentations more effectively and more comfortably, just as importantly, because whatever field of work you're in, you are likely to be needing to do presentations, and so we try and help hone you and prepare you for that need. We have a number of competitions in the year. There's two major well, a number. The number is two. There's two competitions in the year. There's the student advertising competition and the student case competition. Now, the advertising competition is part of advertising night and happens in February. And the picture there shows the winning team from last year. And so in that competition, student teams are formed, or voluntarily formed, and then they compete with their adverts, which they submit to the competition, and then we have a competition to decide who wins the award. So that's the advertising competition in February. We also have the case competition, which for the last few years has been sponsored by Deloitte, and you've got the winning team from last year on the right of the picture here. The case competition is the biggest competition of the year. It's also a very important competition, both for people participating in it, but also many people who just want to watch in the audience can also learn an awful lot about case management, which is also quite important for job interviews because so many job interviews these days are case-based. There's various committees and groups and teams you can join. You can volunteer to join and you can get involved with them. There's a whole list there on the slide. I won't read them out to you, but there's a number of things going on. And so for those who are motivated and interested in certain areas, they can put themselves forward and get actively involved in those groups. The last mentioned actually there on the list is Smurfit Finance Group, which is an in-house investment firm, simulated investment firm. And so they have $1 million to invest, virtual $1 million, and they have a whole series of investment groups and pitches and risk macro teams and risk teams, etc., just like an actual investment firm. And that's a simulation which involves 29 students. And that's an example of one of the many activities that you can get involved in here. We also have various other projects, such as the consultancy projects. The one on the slide here are the PMIA, Proudly Made in Africa consultancy projects, where a number of teams are formed and each one is assigned to a particular business, actually a real live business in Africa. And the aim is to understand what their objectives are and then to help them to develop their business. And each team is given an academic mentor to oversee and to guide them. And that's a very rewarding experience for those who participate because you are seeing a real business advance. We have a number of guest speakers. We're kind of blessed that we have a very large number of alumni from the school over the last several decades, and many of them are willing to come back as guest speakers. And many of them have attained very interesting positions, very many interesting experiences to share. And so they're able to come and deliver speaker events. And so we have a number of those, and two examples are on the slide there. One was on tuning your personal brand for success, all about presenting yourself, both for jobs and then in the workplace itself. And the image on the right is from an entrepreneur who was setting up a business in fashion. She was also working full-time in a full-time job as well as setting up her entrepreneurial business. And her relating her experiences and her journey was, of course, of great interest to many students, creating a very full room. We have some workshops as well, one of which is the Leadership Masterclass workshop, which we run them now in January. And that's led by a psychologist who takes people through on a full-day workshop, identifying their strengths and weaknesses as a team participant and how they can best fit into a team and how their strengths will be an asset to the team and how, given their individual characters and natures, where they will naturally fit into a team and how that whole team dynamic will work. It's a very fun workshop session. That's a very popular one. And so the Leadership Masterclass is another example of the activities we put on. There's various online resources we provide as well. All costs, of course, covered by UCD. So there's Bloomberg courses in different specialist areas, and you can get certificates for those. Volunteering is another option, and many students like to do that. Because it's a way for them to demonstrate initiative, and then if they are speaking to, say, prospective employers, it's a great thing to be able to talk about in an interview. But many also participate because it's a great social opportunity. The thing about GLP is that it includes everyone in the business school, whatever specialist master's program you're in, and there are all about 25 different silos, aviation finance, project management, sustainable supply chain, digital marketing, long list. When you join those programs, yes, you'll be in a class of other people doing the same program, but you normally feel somewhat confined, restricted to that silo that is your program. What GLP allows you to do is meet people from other programs, because basically everyone is welcome to come and join the activities, and we don't divide it up by programs. So by joining GLP and participating in activities, you're able to mix with and meet a whole load of other fellow students. So there's that whole social aspect is great. And most of the events are on campus. And some of them, as the picture shows, are off campus volunteering opportunities. So it's all allows and facilitates the mixing, which many people find so valuable. I think it's in my last of the picture slides. We also have, as part of GLP, Global Leadership Program, the GLP mentoring. Now, I've already mentioned that we have a large number of alumni who are still engaged with and wanting to support the school. And a number of them, several hundred in fact, offer their services as mentors. Because they've had many years of experience in whatever specialist sector they're in, they're willing to help students who also have a similar aspiration. And so there are a number of places on GLP for students to become student mentees, where they sign up for the program, they get shortlisted and selected, and they get a place. Then they are asked to say what their professional aspirations are, like what area they want to work in, perhaps what companies they want to work in, what kind of roles, etc. And then we have a special matching system whereby we try and find the most suitable mentor from our pool of alumni mentors to match them with. They then have a one-to-one relationship with them for 4 or 5 months, where they're able to meet with them and engage with them several times. And then they try and make that as productive as engagement as possible. Sometimes students are asking the mentors to review their CVs or cover letters, or give them guidance as to what companies they should focus on, or what roles they should focus on, or given a particular focus, how best they can approach that to hopefully achieve as much success as possible. So the mentoring is another of the big value additions of being part of GLP, and that also generates an awful lot of interest. And on that, I would just say that places are limited. Not everyone who joins GLP is able to get a place, but those who are registering early for GLP and are in the information loop have got a better chance of getting a place. So if you are intending to come here, I would just say watch the onboarding emails as information comes through, and then as the information about GLP starts coming up, just keep an eye on that would be my advice. But that's the end of my slides there. Of a whistle-stop tour. The point of this very short session is just to give you a taster, give you a flavor of this Smurfit advantage that we're so proud of, this extra, which is go above and beyond what you'd expect a business school to give you. And so it's there for you to engage with and to join. And as already mentioned, it's of no additional cost. When you do sign up and you do get a place and you come here, fees are paid. This is included in that. There's no extra charge for participating in any of the GLP activities. Another point is that there's no obligation that if you do sign up and register, all you're doing is being included on a mailing list. There's no expectation or obligation for you to do anything. So you can sign up, be in the mailing list, see what's coming up, and do absolutely nothing or anything above nothing, as you wish. Obviously, you'll gain more by doing something than nothing, but there's no obligation. There's no exams, there's no credits for this. There's no assessment, no tests. It's simply sessions that are put on, and if you wish to go to them and benefit from them as best you can, you're welcome to go. So, welcome to do so. There's no tests. Okay, I think I've hit the main points I wanted to cover. There may be some questions, and I'll pass over to Richard now. If you have got questions, I'll do my best to answer them.
You know what, Peter? You've done such a fantastic job that there are absolutely no questions as of yet. But maybe there might be some people who might want to stick a question in to use this time. But perhaps so I might just say something briefly because as you know, my job or role in admissions is to talk to students and advise students. And I think one thing that definitely separates us, and this is what students tell us from all around the world, that separates us from a lot of other business schools is this GLP. It is this kind of I suppose going above and beyond and doing more for our students. And I think the fact that in Smurfit you're not just another number. I think we do care for you deeply, and we've got a very good sort of ratio of staff and students, small class sizes and things like this that really help. So I think the GLP is something that when we start talking about it, if we're in another country talking to other students or even here in Ireland, it's something that resonates really strongly because it resonates very strongly with the employers. And I think that's the two sides, isn't it, Peter? You got the sort of employer side of things to elevate your career, to sort of grow. But But then you have your personal side, and your own personal development, as you mentioned there, like the social parts. You're here for a year, it flies by, and that kind of networking piece can sometimes be missed when you're maybe quite busy in your classwork and your coursework, and the ability to integrate with other classes and nationalities is really great. So that's the GLP has lots of advantages, and I think you've already highlighted a lot of those. So I don't want to talk too much more. But I think you've kind of answered some questions. Maybe just some frequently asked questions. So Peter, I might just start off like perhaps some people have these themselves, but I think you've already mentioned some of these answers, but I might just go over again really quickly. So I know you mentioned there if you register for the GLP, one common question is what kind of commitment? I mean, can you expand slightly more on that? And I know you've been
Yeah.
quite clear that you can do nothing or everything, but
Yes. Yeah. There's no obligation, but obviously, the more you put in, the more you should be able to benefit. Um, there's no exams and there's no assessment, and therefore the commitment wise, you can just if you sign up and then do nothing, that's fine. But for those who want to do some certain level of activity, there is actually a certificate you can get if you do more than a certain baseline. The baseline is kind of a reasonable baseline of just engaging in 3 activities in the course of the full year, which is which obviously hopefully will be very, very rewarding, but shouldn't be too big an ask in terms of time and commitment. And so if you that certificate is given towards the end of the year, and while it's nice to have a certificate, the main point is not to gain an extra badge to stick on your LinkedIn profile. The main thing is to have it on your profile and your CV so that when you do go to interview, interviewers looking at your CV can say, oh, you've got a certificate for this. What is that? And that's your opportunity to then explain more about your personal narrative. Or hopefully you can demonstrate things about yourself which are good, of interest to the employers, things that the employer would like, such as the fact that you've had additional team experience, that you volunteered for this team, you've been involved in this team, you've faced challenges and overcame those challenges, you've honed your workplace skills, you've maybe engaged in the mentoring program and gained an awful lot of insights and valuable information and guidance from that. And so,
Peter, actually, I might just jump in there. I'm sorry to
yeah.
cut across you, but there are a few questions coming in, and I think a very good one from Ellen actually, who's just asked, would you see that we talk about the mentors there? Would you see mentors coming from a cross section of industries, not just consultancy firms? And in particular, she's asked about biopharma.
Oh no, the mentors are from a really broad range. I mean, they're drawn from our alumni pool. The alumni pool have been through, well, each of them have been through one of our specialist programs. So you'll have people from a whole range of sectors. There's a huge variety. I know it's way beyond just management consulting or banking or certain ones you might expect. The mentor pool is quite broad, and so we think that it's pretty representative of the interests that the mentees, the student mentees could have. And our feedback from the GLP mentoring is that those students who have engaged with it have normally felt that the match was either good, brilliant, or exceptionally good, that they've gained great value from it. In some cases, people have actually had mentors from the companies they'd like to work for, which is what's very, 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 very helpful. That's a very, very happy outcome. But quite often, well, not quite often, in just about every case, there's very, very great relevance between the mentor's background and what the mentee is aspiring to do.
Yeah. Another question there, Peter, actually, just on the GLP in relation to um, are you when you enroll, or sorry, when do you have to apply to the GLP? Sorry, I beg your pardon. I'm reading two questions at the same time here. Do you have to apply to the GLP? I know you've already mentioned this already, or is one enrolled? So just be very clear on that. Just again, just briefly, yeah, you're not automatically enrolled. Peter, you explained it there.
You're absolutely right. It's rather than application. Application implies you apply and you don't know whether you're in or not. Instead, it's not an application, it's a sign up. So if you are interested in participating and you're a registered student coming to us, then if you wish to be in, you're in. So you're simply just signing up and you're simply just putting your name, your student number, and email address and put them in the boxes and submit, and you're in. So sign up is as simple as that. There's no actual application. You don't have to give an essay or a motivation statement or anything. If you wish to be in it, you simply just put your name and number and email in. Um, so yeah, I think that's the question, doesn't it, really? So
Yeah,
it's
that's great.
easy to
Another one
sign in. And if
actually.
you want to, sorry, if you wish to disconnect and deregister, that's also possible as well. There's no problem. It's just fundamentally a mailing list which you're on. And then how you respond to the things you're mailed about is up to you.
That's a good way to explain it. Laura has a good question too. Actually, she's interested in the marketing development practice or our marketing practice program, which, by the way, there's a webinar coming up on just after this, so stay tuned. But obviously, Peter, you know the marketing practice, it runs like 9 to 5. It's a little bit one of our sort of more professional or practical courses. She's asking basically, can you do the GLP alongside that as well?
You can. Some of the MDP students do participate because they operate as sort of an office hours arrangement, which is very different to all the other programs. I think they have to kind of just not negotiate, but by agreement with the program leader if they want to join a particular GLP session. But that's normally granted if it isn't going to be interfering with a client engagement. So the answer is yes. If you wish to on any program, including MDP, you can participate.
Great. Another question actually from Matt. So it's great. Keep the questions coming if you want. We've got another probably 5 or 10 minutes,
10 minutes.
so
10 minutes.
we don't have to use it all. But
Hmm.
Matt has asked, does the program start when the term starts, or there are you connected with mentors and activities prior to the start of the program?
Okay, no, anything happens from the term start. There's nothing before that. I mean, there is like an introduction information webinar where I explain a little bit more about it, and you give the opportunity to sign up before the term starts. But the actual activities, the stuff you can join, the stuff you can benefit from, that's all from after day one of the autumn term. And GLP operates during the autumn and spring terms, not so much in summer term because summer term is rather more fragmented as people are doing internships or different specialist modules, it's harder to kind of schedule events. So GLP runs primarily through the autumn and spring terms.
Great. Just a question actually that sir I have. It's a frequently asked question. I think you get a lot too, Peter. Just in relation to if you're one of our students that maybe has a bit more experience and maybe you're
Hmm.
late 20s or even early 30s and you have 5 to 10 years experience, would this be beneficial to you because you might already have real world experience?
Uh, yes, yes, it definitely will be. We hope that everyone participating in the activities will basically just go from whatever level they're at and be able to enhance themselves from there. So we're always, all of us are still on a path of self-improvement and professional development. And so, yes, whatever point you're coming in at, we would hope to be able to allow you to make several steps above that point by being participating in GLP. So it's not really targeted at a particular age demographic. It's targeted at people who are obviously of master's level. Obviously, there's that expectation. But other than that, it's sort of general information which would be useful to anyone from their early 20s through to 30s and 40s, 50s. So it really is applicable to all. All can gain value from it.
Yeah. I think actually another question that's come up quite a bit is you mentioned obviously there's quite a lot of different parts to it, and again, you've already kind of explained how this works, but just to be really clear, if you want to be sort of signed up to be a particular part of GLP, so just one part of it, should you request this in advance, or how does that work?
Yeah, I think from these webinars, people get a flavor and there's particular things that are of interest to them. And they want, like, how can I get engaged with that? You can't actually engage or become part of any particular activity again until you actually arrive here. The only thing you can do in advance of arriving here is simply sign up and get added to the mailing list. But everything else that comes up that you can get involved with here is done by invitation once you get here. And the system is that by being on that mailing list, you will then receive these announcements. These announcements might be saying, okay, there's this session here coming up in 2 weeks' time. If you want to go to that guest speaker event, please sign up. Or there are these committees being formed. If you're interested in joining the committee, please express your interest on this form. And so you'll be invited to join. All these things will be announced, and those who are interested will be invited to come forward. And then those who come forward, we can then take it from there. But only once you've arrived.
Great. Well, I think we're at the end of our questions, really. I think there's no more questions. If anyone else wants to add in a quick last question, go for it. But if not, Peter, have you any other final
Okay,
things you
so I'd
want to
like to give
say?
a final thought, and that is when you get invited to a job interview, normally the job interview invitation is based upon is the person going to a good school and doing a relevant program. So obviously you're going to Smurfit, obviously leading school in the country, and doing whatever program you're doing, hopefully will be of relevance to that prospective employer. So that will get you to the door of the interview. But once you walk through that door into the interview, very little of that time, interview time, will be spent talking about your master's program. That's taken as a given. That got you to the room. Once you're in the room, the conversation will be more about who you are as a person. how well they can assess you would fit into a team, how driven you are, how motivated you are, how willing are you to learn, have you demonstrated willingness to engage and to develop yourself. And that sort of story, that narrative that you bring, is what helps. Well, is fundamental in helping employers decide who to select. And we view the GLP experience as allowing you to enrich that story. So that's what the GLP is all about. That is the Smurfit advantage in a nutshell. And so if you are coming here, we very much welcome you coming here. And if you are coming here, we hope you engage with this and gain as much value from it as you can. But with that, I'm happy to conclude. Unless there's a final question there, Richard.
We do.
Ah,
Last
last
second,
gasp. Fine.
could you give a quick brief on activities expected as part of the GLP Creative and Entrepreneurial Careers Committee? That's quite a specific one, isn't there? Is
Wow.
there a discipline-based eligibility criteria to join? I mean, maybe give a 5-10 second response to that one, maybe, but go for it.
That's focused on the entrepreneurial minded members of the student cohort, of which we will have several hundred. And it's primarily built around engagement with our entrepreneurship hub at UCD, which is Nova UCD. And so the number of events and sessions done in collaboration with them, which that committee helps to organize. That's what that's about. And when
Spot
you come
on.
again, you'll be invited to join that and the other committees when you come. And then there's a simple process where you express your interest.
Great, Peter. We're all done. Listen, thanks for that. I appreciate it.
My pleasure. I hope this is helpful for everyone. And thank you very much.